Have you ever paused at the edge of sleep, your eyelids heavy as the world fades, and felt a shiver of doubt? Where am I really going when I dream? Not your body, that stays behind, nestled in the warmth of your bed, breathing softly in the quiet night. But your mind, your essence, the spark that makes you you. Where does it wander when the darkness claims you? What if, in that moment of surrender, you're not just resting, but crossing into a realm where the rules of reality unravel, where something might be waiting, watching, whispering your name? Imagine you're 32-year-old Clara Nguyen, a photographer with a penchant for capturing fleeting moments, sunsets, strangers' smiles, the way rain clings to a window pane. Growing up in a small mountain town, Clara was raised on her grandfather Tuan's tales of spirits that danced in the moonlight, stories that made her both curious and wary of the night. Tonight, as she lies in her city apartment, the hum of distant traffic lulling her, she feels that familiar pull, like a current dragging her under. Her breathing slows, her thoughts blur, and then nothing. A vast, silent void where she ceases to exist. But suddenly, she's somewhere else. She's standing in a meadow where the grass glows faintly, each blade swaying as if breathing. The air smells of lavender and something sharper, like ozone before a storm. In the distance, shapes move, too fluid to be human, too deliberate to be shadows. Her heart pounds, not with fear, but with a strange, aching wonder. Is this her mind's creation, or has she slipped into a place that exists beyond her? Clara's not alone in this mystery. Across time, people have sensed that dreams are more than fleeting images. Take 47-year-old Julian Harper, a librarian who, after dreaming of a crumbling temple, woke up scribbling glyphs he'd never seen, glyphs he later found in a book on ancient Sumerian script. Or 30-year-old Aisha Patel, a social worker who dreams of her late grandmother, Meena. Their conversations so vivid, she wakes smelling Meena's cardamom tea. These aren't just dreams, they're glimpses into something deeper, doorways to a shadow world where the veil between reality and the unknown thins. The question isn't whether you dream, it's whether you're alone when you do. Let's linger in that meadow from Clara's dream. The air is cool, heavy with the scent of dew and wildflowers, and the ground beneath her feet pulses faintly, as if it has a heartbeat. She takes a step, and the grass parts, revealing a path that wasn't there before. But she hesitates, sensing a presence, eyes, not human, but ancient, sharp, like a hawk tracking its prey. She turns, but there's only the endless field, the glowing grass swaying under a sky of impossible colors. Yet the feeling clings to her, a weight on her chest, a whisper in her mind. You don't belong here. Dreams like these aren't just stories we weave in sleep. They're experiences that linger, that change us. Julian, the librarian, once dreamed of standing in a plaza filled with voices speaking a tongue he didn't know. At 45, he was a man who trusted facts, yet he woke with a phrase echoing in his head, "The stars remember," and a nostalgia so sharp it left him breathless. Months later, he visited a ruin in Peru and found a stone carving that matched his dream, down to the spiral of stars etched into the rock. Coincidence, or did Julian's mind touch something real? Then there's the darker side. Aisha, at 28, has a dream she rarely speaks of. She was in a vast grey void, the air thick with the scent of rust. She couldn't move, couldn't scream. And there, in the distance, was a figure, tall, its edges smudged like wet ink, its presence cold and curious. It didn't speak, but she felt its thoughts, probing, invasive, like fingers rifling through her memories. She woke gasping, her bedroom too still, the shadows too dense. For weeks, she felt it lingering, a weight just beyond her sight, as if she'd carried something back. The ancients knew these experiences. The aboriginal peoples spoke of the dreamtime, a realm where past, present, and the future intertwine. Siberian shamans practiced dreamwalking, navigating these planes to retrieve lost truths or lost souls. But what if it's not just you wandering? What if something else is there, dreaming with you? The thought is like a cold hand on your neck. When you close your eyes tonight, will you be the only one shaping the story? Now picture the moment you fall asleep. Your body lies still, a quiet vessel in the hush of your room, the clock ticking softly in the dark. But your consciousness, where is it? Clara, at 32, has always felt a flicker of unease as she drifts off, a memory from when she was 10, curled up in her grandfather's cabin, hearing the wind howl and imagining her soul slipping through the cracks in the walls. Tuan would comfort her with stories of the sky path, a road souls traveled in sleep, but even his gentle voice couldn't erase the fear. What if I don't come back? This fear isn't hers alone. Take 52-year-old Owen Brooks, a former paramedic who, after a heart attack at 50, began having dreams so vivid they felt more real than his waking life. In one, he was a carpenter in a village, the smell of sawdust thick, the weight of a hammer familiar in his hand. He woke with splinters in his fingers, though his bed was clean. Weeks later, he found a photo in a history book of a 17th century village that matched his dream, down to the crooked well in the square. Owen, a man who'd faced death without flinching, now dreads sleep, haunted by the question, was that me or someone else? Then there's cryptomnesia, memories that aren't yours, surfacing in dreams. At 30, Aisha dreamed of a man playing a flute under a banyan tree, his melody haunting. She woke humming it, and years later, at a music festival, heard the same tune, a Rajasthani folk song her family had never known. Hindu texts speak of souls migrating, of spirits seeking hosts in the vulnerable hours of sleep. In Tibet, monks warn of entities that can displace a sleeping soul, leaving something else behind. Imagine waking up and feeling off. Your face in the mirror is yours, but your thoughts are different, your cravings unfamiliar. Julian, at 47, once woke up craving bitter tea, a drink he'd always despised, and found himself sketching a harbor he'd never seen. Was it a quirk or a sign of something deeper? What if, in the vast dream world, your consciousness wandered too far and something else slipped into your body, wearing your life like a borrowed cloak? Dreams don't just pull you into strange places, they twist time itself. You've felt it. You close your eyes for minutes, yet live years in your mind. Clara, at 32, once dreamed she was a grandmother, her hair silver, her hands worn from years of kneading dough in a kitchen filled with laughter. She woke sobbing, not from loss, but from the joy of a life she'd never lived. The clock read 5 a.m. Barely an hour had passed. How could so much fit into so little? Julian, at 47, has recurring dreams of a clock tower where the hands spin backward, each visit continuing a story that feels like decades. He's spent what seems like lifetimes there, meeting strangers who call him by another name. Yet the dreams always end with a bell tolling, "Not now." He wonders if he's glimpsing parallel lives, other Julians who chose differently. A Julian who became a painter, a traveler, a recluse. Aisha too knows this strangeness. At 30, she dreamed of a forest where the trees sang, their voices like a choir. She lived there for what felt like years, learning their songs, falling in love with a woman whose eyes were the color of moss. When she woke, only 15 minutes had passed, but the grief of leaving that world lingered for months. She later found a poem online that described her dream forest, written by a stranger who claimed it came in a vision. Coincidence or connection? Some say dreams are portals to alternate timelines where every choice you didn't make unfolds. The Celts spoke of the other world, a realm where time flows differently, where lives intersect across dimensions. If your consciousness can slip into these other stories, what's to stop something from slipping into yours? The thought is a shadow in your mind. Every night as you dream, are you trading pieces of yourself with another you, another world? Now let's face the heart of this mystery. What's on the other side of your dreams? Every culture has whispered of it. A realm where the impossible is real, where entities linger, neither human nor divine, but something older, stranger. Clara, at 32, has seen them. In one dream, she stood on a cliff under a sky of churning clouds, and there, watching her, was a figure, human-like, but wrong. Its limbs too long, its smile too wide. It didn't speak, but she felt its curiosity, a need to understand her, to become her. She woke screaming, the taste of salt on her lips. Julian, at 47, has met them too. He dreamed of a library where the books whispered, and a shadow with no face offered him a key. When he took it, the shadow's voice echoed, "You'll open it." He woke with a chill, his hands shaking, and for days he felt a presence as if something was waiting for him to sleep again. These aren't just nightmares. Japanese lore speaks of the yumakui, spirits that feed on dreams, turning hungry if not respected. In Islamic tradition, jinn lurk at the edges of sleep, offering truths or deceptions. Aisha, at 30, once dreamed of a child who looked like her, but older, her eyes empty. The child reached for her, whispering, "Let me in." Aisha woke with a mark on her wrist, though she'd slept alone. Then there's the mystery of shared dreams. Owen, at 52, dreamed of a woman in a blue dress standing in a city of glass. Months later, he met a co-worker who described the same dream, down to the woman's braided hair. Online, thousands report dreaming of the observer, a figure with hollow cheeks and piercing eyes appearing in dreams worldwide. Who is it? A shared myth, a dream wanderer, or something worse, something that dreams us? What if sleep isn't just rest, but a gamble with your soul? Clara, at 32, has begun to wonder if her dreams are reshaping her. She's started painting scenes she doesn't recall dreaming, cities of bone, figures with eyes like voids. Her art has grown sharper, her sleep restless, and sometimes, in her quiet loft, she hears a faint rustle, like footsteps just out of sync. Consider 62-year-old Nora Kim, a retired botanist, who at 60 began dreaming of a garden where the flowers spoke, their petals glowing like embers. She'd wake with words in her mind, "The roots know you," and a longing so deep it felt like home. Last year, she visited a greenhouse and stopped cold. A rare orchid matched her dream flower exactly. Nora, a woman who'd built her life on science, now believes her dreams are calling her to something or someone waiting to claim her. Sleep, the mystics say, is a rehearsal for the end, a nightly leap where your essence tests the edges of existence. Every morning you wake, you've won a quiet victory, returning to your body, your life. But what if you're not the same? Owen, at 52, notices it in small ways. A book he loved now bores him. A memory of his youth feels like a stranger's tale. Aisha, at 30, sometimes catches herself humming a tune she doesn't know, as if another voice is borrowing her breath. The darkest thought is this: what if one night you don't return? Not because you die, but because your consciousness is caught, lost in the maze of dreams, wandering a labyrinth of realities. Julian, at 47, keeps a notebook by his bed, jotting down who he is before he sleeps, a lifeline to his identity. Clara does the same, her photos, a map of the places she visits, a reminder she's still here. So tonight, as you close your eyes, ask yourself, where will I go? Who will I meet? And will I come back? Dreams are doors, and doors open both ways. The next time you feel yourself slipping, listen closely. Is that your pulse or something else waiting in the dark?